Hey, how's it going? My name's Andy Monroe, the co-founder of Bullish Events. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to walk you guys through the number one strategy that we use to fill our events of all sizes. We use this strategy on 10 to 20 attendee events all the way up to 1,500, 2,000 attendee events. And there's a lot, honestly, that I could say about event marketing. There's a lot to go into. There's a lot of rabbit holes to dive into. But the one that is the highest leverage, that yields the most results, is this strategy that I'm about to walk you guys through in this video. And we have been doing events, both virtual and in person, for 5.5 years at this point. Actually getting kind of close to 6. And this strategy has rang true the whole time. It's been there, and it's helped us, fill up our events, both virtual and in person. And it's allowed us to generate, at this point, around $10 million in revenue from live events. And we've had over 6,400 attendees come through all of those events. So this strategy has helped us get those attendees to the events. So I'm excited to walk you guys through this strategy, and it should be very simple, direct, and clear, and very easy for you to implement with your events. So with all of that being said, let's just jump right into it. Now, I wrote it as the golden rule. The golden rule that we use for marketing our events is only advertising the event to a warm audience. And I'm sure most of you are familiar with what a warm audience is, but if you're not, totally fine. I define a warm audience as people that are already inside of your ecosystem and are familiar with you and your brand. That's what I've defined a warm audience as. And why? Why do we only market to a warm audience? Because trust. People that are inside of your ecosystem, that have either bought a product from you, they're on your email list, they're inside of your school communities, they follow you on social media. Those people trust you more than somebody that has just seen your ad for the first time, or somebody that comes across your reel for the first time on Instagram, or whatever it is. Someone that's cold, that isn't familiar with you. It's nothing against you. They just don't trust you yet. And the people that are warm to you, people that are your pre-existing audience, they are warm to you and they trust you. For someone to take time out of their day and attend your event, I'm mainly refer to all of this in the context of in-person events. I know I mentioned virtual at the beginning. These strategies do work for virtual events, but we mainly deploy them for in-person events. And for someone to take the time out of their day to attend your in-person event, especially if they're going to have to go fly somewhere, book a flight, book a hotel, stay for multiple days, take time off work, take time away from their family, their friends, their kids, whatever it is, in order for somebody to do that, they need to trust you. It's a pretty big commitment on their part, and we always kind of remind ourselves that events are inconvenient. Like, we might be super wrapped up in our event, super stoked about it, but at the end of the day, events are kind of inconvenient for the attendee. And for someone to body, for lack of better words, to eat that inconvenience, just to take it off the chin, they need to trust you. They need to know that they're going to get a good experience out of this event. So, marketing to your warm audience, that trust is already established, versus marketing to a cold audience where you have to build that trust. And if the first touch point somebody has with you and your brand is you trying to sell them an event ticket, the trust really isn't there for them to buy that ticket. And of course, there are some outliers. Like, this is not a binary rule, but this is just what we've seen work the best for us. We've seen this be very consistent over the last 5 years of marketing events. So here are a few examples actually of this in action. And these are events that we've done recently where we deployed this strategy. So the Home Service Academy Workshop 2025, this actually happened last week. We had around 50 attendees. I think it was 55 attendees on the dot at this event. And this was all a warm audience for the client. So the client was Home Service Academy. All 50 of these attendees were people that were already inside of their pre-existing program. So they were pre-existing clients. They had gotten value. They had gotten wins. The relationship was already there, so we had absolutely no problem filling this event with the 50 attendees. We were actually getting worried that we were, going to have too many attendees show up because our event space, was only able to hold so much, and we had already pre-ordered food and beverage and all that classic event stuff. So we were actually worried about overfilling this event, and we really didn't try that hard at promoting it just because there was such a high demand for this event. So we were able to fill this event with 50 attendees. This was all warm audience. Like not a single person in this room was cold to Home Service Academy. And they had all spent like quite a bit of money to be in that room. So that's one example. Number 2 is the school IRL events that we did. I think we did, it's either 4 or 5. I think we did 5 IRLs, either 4 or 5. I can't remember exactly how much, but we helped school out with their IRL events. Goose is the guy that he's the pioneer behind the in real life. That's what IRL stands for, the movement on school to gather school users in person. And we helped them out with a handful of events. We had anywhere from 30 to 50 attendees at these events, but these people were also warm. They were school users. They were people inside of the IRL community. So for example, this one was Los Angeles. Whenever we would do an event for school, we would build a school community around that event. So this one was like school IRL Los Angeles, and we would fill that community with people and then promote the event inside of the community. So they were already warm. The first warm touch point was they were school users, so they were familiar with the brand. Then the second one is they were actually warm to the event because they were inside of the community, if that makes sense. And this worked really well. We were able to fill these events with 30 to 50 attendees with basically no budget, which was very interesting for us to use, but it made us get creative. And we were also able to produce anywhere from a 2 to 4x ROI on these events, which these events weren't meant to be revenue drivers. They were meant to build community, spread the word of school. But they also didn't want to lose money. And we worked with them to build out a monetization strategy, and we were able to help them produce a 2 to 4x ROI across 4 or 5. I can't remember how many it was. It was Los Angeles, Austin, Texas, New York, Vienna, Los Angeles, Austin, New York, Vienna. So it was 4. It was 4 events. Across those 4 events, we were able to help them produce like a 2 to 4x ROI, which is pretty cool. And then one thing I'll point out too is for the people that weren't school users, they usually came with a friend that was like preaching school as if it were the gospel. So that's like one caveat to this rule, this strategy is if somebody buys a ticket to your event and they want to bring a friend, like the trust is already there with that friend. So that kind of breaks the rule of like the attendee trusting you. If they trust their friend, then they're going to come to the event. If it's like these were pretty low ticket events, so it was a low barrier of entry. If it's like a high ticket event, that might be different. But for this one, the people that were in the room that weren't school users, they came with a friend, which was cool. Now, last one, Fun Launch Live 2024. This one was a pretty big event. We had around 1,700 attendees, and most of the attendees were people that attended webinars, they attended challenges, they attended workshops, they were on our email list, they were pre-existing clients, and they were social media followers. So same rule applies. Most of the people that bought tickets to this event were warm people, warm audiences already in our ecosystem. And they already trusted Fun Launch. They trusted Bridger, who is the face of Fun Launch, and they knew they were going to get value out of this event because they got value somewhere else. So they were already warmed up. And Fun Launch Live did have some cold people. This is a caveat. Like this is not a binary rule. I made a point about this at the end of the video. Like this isn't something that's like always going to work and never not going to work. Like some cold people did buy a ticket to this event. That totally happened. But most of them entered into our ecosystem at a different point or through a different funnel and then bought a ticket after that. So I'd say a majority of the attendees at this event were warm. That being said, some of them were cold. There will be a few exceptions, a few outliers where maybe someone has a lot of money, or your ad copy or your event messaging, your event offer just resonates very, very deeply with them. Like maybe they'll just buy a ticket on the spot, but most of the time you'll need to warm them up a little bit. This is just like a general principle. So we use these 3 audiences to promote events for the most part. So pre-existing clients, email lists, and social media following and communities. So for the clients that we work with that have these built out already and they've built trust with these 3 vehicles, these 3 mediums, it's pretty easy to market events. That's one thing. A lot of people say that marketing events is like really hard, and it's hard if you're starting from scratch. But like a lot of the clients we work with, they have pre-existing clients, they have an email list, they have a social media following, they have communities they can draw on, and it's actually not that hard to sell tickets to events. But like, don't worry, that's one side of the spectrum are the clients that we work with that already have these marketing channels built out. But we also work with some that don't. And if you don't have a massive warm audience built out yet, but you still want to do an event, don't worry. I'm about to dive into some strategies for you right now. And these are some marketing strategies for making someone warm before promoting your event to them. So maybe you have a warm audience already. Maybe it's small, maybe it's bigger. These strategies actually work whether you have a warm audience or not. They're meant to warm people up to your event. But if you already have a warm audience but you haven't done an event before, you might want to use these strategies as well. So we deploy these on pretty much every event that we do. The first one is webinars, challenges, and workshops. So instead of sending a cold lead directly to an event page, get them to attend a challenge or a webinar where you provide value, build trust, and then sell your event. You can also sell a different offer at these webinars, challenges, and workshops and include your event ticket as a bonus or an upsell. So webinars are typically free. We haven't really done any paid webinars. They're usually free. Challenges and workshops, the models we usually run for those is like a free challenge with a VIP upsell. And then for a workshop, we've done free workshops, but they can also be paid. They can also do the free plus VIP upsell. That being said, getting someone on a virtual event to sell an in-person event has worked really well for us because it just builds so much trust. You give them quick wins, you deliver value, they get familiar with you, they get to hear you talk, they get to see you in your element, and it kind of teases what they're going to get at your in-person event. So if you are trying to warm people up to your event, a webinar, a challenge, or a workshop is a great strategy to deploy. And like I said, you can either use these vehicles to sell your event directly. That still might be a more difficult sale depending on the ticket price, depending on your audience. There's like a lot of variables to analyze. If it makes more sense, you can sell like a different offer, maybe a lower ticket offer or like a $1,000 to $3,000 offer, and you can include your event ticket as a bonus, or you can sell an offer and have your event ticket be an upsell, or you can just sell a different offer, so like a $1,000 to $3,000 offer, and then you just promote the event on the back end. All those strategies kind of work. What we do when we work with clients is we analyze their ecosystem, their ICP, their pre-existing clients, like what we're working with, and then we pick a strategy that works best. But to kind of like water it down, webinars, challenges, and workshops work really well for warming people up to your event. Then we have free/low ticket offers. So the whole point of this strategy is to get people to opt into your email list or buy a low ticket offer. Once they're in your ecosystem, you can start promoting your event to them via emails, via retargeting ads. Like I said, you can even include the event ticket inside of the offer, or you can have it an upsell. Whatever it is, just getting people into your ecosystem at a different entry point, and then marketing your event to them once they're already inside of your ecosystem. And something important to note: buyers are always better than freebies. So I know right here I use an example of like getting people into your email list or a low ticket offer. Getting someone to buy something is it's going to work so much better in the long run, and they're just higher quality attendees. They're already saying like, yes, I have pain that I'm experiencing and I want you to help me solve these painful problems. They're also willing to commit because they already committed to buying an offer of some type. So like if you need to start with free, that's fine, but it's like having people buy something is just so much better, and it'll give you better attendees at your event, and you'll probably make more money at your event as well. So try to optimize for buyers if you can. That being said, if you're starting from absolute scratch, maybe you do a hybrid of free and buying, or maybe you just do free at first just to get the first event out of the way. But I would totally recommend to optimize for buyers. Awesome. Ads. Everyone always asks about ads for events. Running ads to different front-end offers, and then once someone opts in or buys that offer, you start running retargeting ads to them about your event. Ads kind of plug into all these different strategies because like you can use ads to promote your webinars, challenges, and workshops. You can use ads to promote your free or low-ticket offers. You can use retargeting ads to target people that are already inside of your ecosystem to buy your event tickets. You can run retargeting. Stumbling over my words. You can run retargeting ads to people that have already bought tickets to your events to help with show-up rates. You can kind of deploy ads at every step of this process. But in general, a huge rule that we always operate off of is like we don't run ads directly to event pages. So if like you're running an event and you have your event offer, like we will almost never run ads directly to that event page unless you're retargeting warm people that are already inside of your ecosystem. They've already bought something. They've already gotten quick wins. They've already built that trust. Maybe we'll run ads to an event page for them. But for cold people, we would never ever funnel them to a cold event page, just because I've said it a few times, like the trust isn't there. They haven't been given enough value. They haven't gone through the buying process. Like there's a lot that needs to go into making a decision to attend an event, and we'll pretty much never send cold people to an event page. School communities. So you can funnel cold leads into a school community, warm them up, and then once they're inside and they're warm, start promoting your event to them. We use School. I love School. It's pretty cool. It's a great place to warm up and build like a community, build an ecosystem. And then once they're inside of your ecosystem, you can start promoting your event to them. And then selling a different product or offer and including your event as a bonus to help with the implementation. I mentioned this up here, I think, with webinars, challenges, and workshops, but this actually works really well. We did this at Fun Launch. There's a few different offers we were selling at Fun Launch. We had like a lower ticket Fun Launch Academy, and we had a higher ticket Black Card program. And depending on who we were talking to and like what the kind of the objective of the event was, we would usually give, if someone bought like the Fun Launch Academy for $2,000, we'd usually tack on an event ticket to that offer. Or if somebody bought Black Card, we'd give include a ticket in their purchase. And it worked really well. It helped us fill the room for sure. And it really depends on, like, for example, if you're selling a certain offer, like at Fun Launch Live, we would sell the Black Card program. So for someone that bought Black Card, we would usually include an event ticket, just because like if they already bought Black Card, like they're not going to buy it again at the event. So we'd rather have them at the event than not have them at the event. There's a whole other rabbit hole we can go down of like why it's good to have pre-existing clients at your events, even if they're not going to buy anything from you. It's great for social proof. They kind of act as like your troops of salesmen just walking throughout the event and like preaching your name. I'll probably make another video on that down the road, but long story short, it depends, but like attaching your event ticket on as a bonus to a pre-existing offer can be a great way to get people in the room and also get like high quality attendees in the room. Because if somebody's buying an offer from you, even if it's like a couple $100 or $1,000 or $2,000, they're obviously in pain and they obviously trust you enough to like solve their problems and like get them to their desired outcome. And they're already willing to commit because they've committed to buy this product from you and go through it and like use your process and your systems. So those are good people to have in the room. Those are the people that are most likely going to buy your offers that you're presenting at your events. So I would, it's great for getting high quality, commitment ready attendees in the room. So that's a strategy that you can deploy if that resonates with you, your business, and your ecosystem. And then one thing I want to point out about all of this, like these strategies, we've used every single one and they've worked really well. It does really depend on, sorry, I keep looking over here too. I got OBS open, so it's just interesting to see yourself on the other screen, but it really just does depend on your offer. Like your event offer is a huge needle mover when it comes to selling tickets to your events. Like the number one strategy that we deploy is marketing to warm audiences, but this strategy won't work if your event offer isn't good. And I have a few other videos on this channel about building out event offers, making sure that your event offer is rock solid. So like, yes, like webinars, challenges, workshops, free low ticket offers, ads, school communities, selling a different product or offer and attaching your event ticket on as a bonus or to help out with implementation. All of these work really well, but you just need to make sure that your event offer is really good too. So if you have any questions about that, you feel free to drop them down below. If it's not very clear on how to build a good event offer, or if any of these strategies aren't clear, please drop a question down below and I can dive deeper into them. Now, something to note, if you don't have a warm audience and you don't want to borrow someone or you want to borrow someone else's, so like, let's say you have absolutely no warm audience, or maybe you have like a smaller warm audience, but you still want to draw on somebody else's audience to help promote your event, like a JV partnership, that would work. Like we've done that before as well. But I would still recommend following these same principles. So just because a JV partner is willing to promote your event doesn't mean their audience will trust you. So let's just imagine like you're doing a real estate event and you want to partner with some, authority in the real estate space. If they just go send a few emails about your event, the people are going to be like, who the heck is this guy? Like, I have no idea who it is. And like, yes, they trust like the authority, like the JV partner, they trust them, but that trust might not be enough for them to buy a ticket to your event. So what I would recommend to do there's two things I'd recommend. One is to try to do a webinar, challenge, or workshop with the JV partner where you both jump on, provide value, build trust, and then sell your event. Or, like I said, you can do the strategy of selling a different offer and attaching your event on as a bonus. that's one strategy. The other is you can also have the JV promote your webinar, your challenge, or your workshop without them needing to show up. So like if you have a webinar that you're doing, or you have a challenge or a workshop, like if a JV partner sends a few emails about your webinar, like you're probably gonna get people to show up. Like it's a pretty low barrier of entry. It's not a huge ask. It's way lower than asking them to like buy a ticket to your event. So whatever it is, if you're gonna do a JV partnership or like an affiliate deal with somebody, funnel them into a webinar, challenge, or workshop so that you can build that trust, build that rapport, provide value, give them quick wins, and then sell your event. I would never have a JV partner just promote your event directly to their list and their following. Typically what we've seen is like the trust just isn't there. And also like your JV partner, they're not gonna care enough to like sell it how it should be sold, because like your JV, they have their own business, they have other offers to sell, they're probably doing JV deals with other people. They're just busy entrepreneurs, so like you can't rely on somebody else to like put in a ton of effort to sell your event. So what you want to do is just have them funnel all their people onto a webinar or a virtual event with you, then you can do the selling for your event. So that's just a recommendation I have based on what we've seen. Okay, final thoughts. Is this binary? Meaning, is this a written rule that always works and that will never not work? Absolutely not. Can you sell event tickets to cold audiences? Yes. Will it be harder? Most likely. Is it easier to sell tickets to people that are warmed up to you? Yes. Do warm people make better event attendees? Absolutely. These are just some final thoughts I have. Of course, you can sell cold event tickets, but like from our experience, it's just very hard. All that being said, this is just what has worked best for us. If you are hosting events and crushing it by selling to cold audiences, then like keep doing what you're doing. That's awesome. This is just what's worked for us. We have found that selling to warm audiences, or like warming people up before you sell an event ticket to them, works so much better than trying to sell an event ticket to somebody that's cold. Now, if you found this helpful, or if you have any questions, or if you want to just stay up to date on what's working in the events industry, we specifically deal with events in the high ticket coaching info community space. So if you're in that space and you're hosting live events, or if you just want to, or if you're interested in hosting live events, we actually have a free community that you can join. I don't think my face, oh yeah, it is. Look at, that's awesome. Side note, this is a completely irrelevant tangent, so if you click off here, I totally understand, but I've been using Loom to record these videos for a while, and I just think Loom like sucks so much. Like, I'm sorry, Loom, if someone from Loom is watching this, like, no hard feelings, but I would record a video, the audio would cut out a bunch, I'd get stuck in like Loom jail, where I would have to like wait 3 days for my video to process, and it was just terrible. So I'm using OBS now, but it's weird because like in Loom I could see that my face is down in this corner, but in OBS I have to like look over and make sure it is. But this is our free community. It's meant to be a mastermind and a place for high ticket info coaching and community oriented businesses to gather to either learn about in-person events, or to share what's working in the in-person event industry. So what we do inside of here, Ethan and I, my business partner, that's him right there, we're always sharing what's working, what's not working for us. We're talking about our events. We're doing event debriefs. And then there's other people in the industry that are hosting events for their different high-ticket coaching offers, their different communities, and they're also showing or sharing what's working for them. So if you're in the event space and you are a high-ticket coach or a community owner, this is the place for you to be. And if you have any questions about this video, about event marketing trends, about event marketing strategies, or if nothing in this video made sense to you, just join this community. It's completely free. Ask the question, and Ethan and I will respond. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next video.